with Saud. I want to first introduce myself. My name is Sadia, aka Sideline with Saud. I've been with Atlanta Phoenix since Atlanta Phoenix first started, and I want to say that I never had any issues with Brain or Red. This is why I've stayed loyal to the program. Um, Even if it was something small, it wasn't anything to, just small little, as any team would have. So, but tonight's conversation about something that's shaking up women's football, the removal of the Atlanta Phoenix from the AWFL and the WFNFC controversy surrounding it. There's been a lot of talk, a lot of rumors, a lot of emotions, and a lot of questions. But tonight is about hearing perspectives, discussing your experiences, and having an open conversation about what's been happening behind the scenes. This conversation may include personal opinions, allegations, and experiences from those directly involved. Our goal is not to spread hate or attack anyone, but to create a space for transparency, accountability, and discussion within women's football. So, first off, I want to start off. Coach Red, would you like to speak first or Brain?
Um, what do you want me to speak about first? Like,
Do you
what?
want? I mean, do you would like to speak first?
I was like introduce myself.
Yes.
Oh,
All right.
okay. Cool. Yeah, I'm Coach Hart. I'm a owner, not only an owner of the Atlanta Phoenix, but I'm a founder of the Atlanta Phoenix women's football team. Uh, April, myself, and two other individuals, we founded the Atlanta Phoenix in 2011. Played our first season in 2012 with the WFA. My background, I played college ball at Albany State University. We won. That's all I know how to do, and that's all I teach. I'm fair, but it has to be competitive. So that's how I coach. That's my motto. That's what we roll by. I'll pass over April to explain who she is.
April Chrysler, just like Red said, we co-founded, co-owned the team since 2011 with two other good individuals. They're not with us anymore in ownership, but he and I have continued. It's been 15 years down the road us doing this, and within that time, like you said, we've operated in three leagues now, and so we've got a pretty good idea of the landscape and the culture of all three of them. And in standing up the team, we've only just tried to produce um, a highly competitive, well branded team um, that we feel like is a contributor to growing women's football and bringing um, our resources to women's football to um, pull it forward and grow it. And we feel like we've been contributors to that, and as well other teams have. But in the 15 years, we've put quite a bit of time, effort, and money into women's football across all three leagues. And unfortunately, we're at a point now where all three of those leagues are behind us. So yeah, that's the background. I work in technology, mergers and acquisitions on globally. And so this year, I haven't been able to be a factor in managing the team because of some contract um, obligations and restrictions I have, as well as and primarily my health. And so I've taken a step back from managing the team, which is why we put two very capable co-general managers in place to take care of the things administratively, and they've been doing well up until this point, but and not doing well by them not doing well, but just everything came to a stop for everybody at this point. So we've all been doing well and managing, coping with this team up until this point. So now we're here, and we're opening up the floor with anybody who wants to ask us any questions about how did we get to this point, what's the background behind it, what's been happening in the back scenes, and what's the and trying to, and we'll be as transparent as we possibly can be with what we know, with what we know. We'll tell you what we know. Saudi?
No questions? Okay. So let's just go ahead and get started. Just jump right into it. Okay. I want to keep everything on a timeline so we can, from the beginning to where we are today. So I want to say, okay, looking back, when do you think the relationship between Atlanta Phoenix and the league started to shift?
I think
Go ahead, Red.
me personally, I think it started to shift. One, after the Ray Lewis video. Two, when the playoff came down, when it came down to the playoffs, where the league allowed the Carolina Stars to bring their own refs to our playoff game. And we was having a conversation, myself, the league, and the Stars owner. We was having a conversation, and they didn't like the way the conversation went, and so they went behind our back and they talked to Ed and got him to agree to some things that we were telling him no to on the phone. That's when it's, for me personally, I feel like everything started to change because it never happened to anybody else again. It never happened to anybody else again. Nobody else was in that same situation. It was just a thing that was brought upon the Phoenix, whatnot, and I contested it. And once you contest things with people, they don't like that. So I contested it. I'm like, I don't think this right. If they wanted to have their own refs, they should have won the game and against us, and they could have had their own refs there or whatnot. And we'll wait to get to the championship game. We get to the championship game. But yeah, that's where I feel it take a turn with the Phoenix and the league. April may have a different opinion.
So what tends to happen to piggyback and expound on what Red is alluding to is that us being a team, we've always been vocal about what we feel is fair for our team, our brand, our business, and for our players primarily. And so what tends to happen is that we are two very vocal people, myself and Red, when it comes to what we feel like is right and fair. And too often in women's football, we've been in the room with other owners who feel like they can't speak up. I would like for them to speak up on things that they feel like are unfair. And like what Red is talking about, we thought it was unfair that we are the home team. We got home field advantage as the number one seed, and the officials to be used in that number one seed playoff game should be our officials. So for us to have to negotiate using other owners and other teams visiting officials, which is something that is not ever done in college football or no sport.
Carlton.
No other sport does that. You get home field advantage for a reason. And so Red spoke up about that, and it did seem to get sour at that point. But there were other things leading up to the disdain that leadership has for Atlanta, and it stems from we believe in standing up for our team. When we're put in a position and we're told that we have to do things the way that other teams do in their branding, and the way that other teams have to, operate, and the way that other teams have to look. We're Atlanta. We're a strong brand. I think, and we're a favorable brand. If you want to measure it by metrics on social media, you can do that. You'll see that we have a lot more fans than a lot of teams in women's football. So obviously we're doing something right. Obviously people like us. We are viral far more times than a lot of teams in these leagues without us even trying. We were even told that Atlanta doesn't even have to try, and their fans just trip all over them. And it's just like, why is that a problem? So it continues to be a theme in just two particular leagues that when Atlanta stands up for Atlanta to be Atlanta, and to have the freedom to be Atlanta and the independence to be Atlanta, and just to be a football team. We want to be a football team. We don't want to do the politicking. We don't want to, we don't want to decrease ourselves to be something that another team is. We love Atlanta. We love our fans. We love our players. We love the independence of our players. We love the freedom that football gives all the players, and we really just want to develop our team in that same freedom to be Atlanta. And whenever we stand up for that, at the end of the day, at the core, whenever we stand up for that, it just seems to be a problem. We're called, we think we're all that, we're this, we're that, and it's just like, no, when we see something that doesn't really work for us, we're gonna say something about it. When we believe that investors put money into our team and a league owning part of our team, when we don't like that structure and we feel like that's not in our best interest, we're going to say something about that, you know, and a host of other things. But I don't think that you're ready to go that far yet. But there, again, when Atlanta stands up for Atlanta, for we're going to be Atlanta, that rubs people the wrong way, and we don't say it in a brash or a disrespectful way. Um, but what we've learned is questioning the authority and questioning the whys and the hows and does this make sense? And when Atlanta does it, and other teams come to us after these conversations and say, I wouldn't have done it either. It's like, well, why you just let Atlanta just say it all by ourselves? Why do we have to have this conversation behind after the meeting, and you were against it then, but you don't want to say anything in front of these people? Is because a lot of these teams do have some level of fear that they're going to be targeted the way that Atlanta has targeted, because that's been the consistent pattern. When you stand up and you have something to say and you are not for what the powers that be enforce on you, then what they will do is they will do the thing that they just did to Atlanta. And they're afraid that they'll lose their teams if they do that. And I know that for a fact because that is what owners have said to me. They will not stand up for their teams and will not say the things that happen behind closed doors, and they will not talk about the things that they feel like that are unfair, because they feel like, look at what they did to Atlanta. And they use us as an example to keep everybody quiet about what really happens in these meetings, what really happens in closed doors. They talk shit about the leagues amongst themselves. They don't like them. They don't want to be in the leagues. They talk about the changing, and they have conversations with other leagues and go into other leagues all the time, but they won't say it in their faces. But Atlanta does. And when Atlanta does, they do this to Atlanta. And then the other teams get quiet again and say, man, you see what they did to Atlanta? See, that's why we won't do it, because we'll lose our entire team if we just say that we are against what these league policies are. But we can tell you specifically why in the AWFL that they cited us for what they cited us for, and why we've been kicked out, and why we feel like the crime doesn't meet the punishment.
Okay, Brian. Can you walk us through the timeline leading up to the Phoenix getting removed from the AWFL? Like from the very beginning, like
yeah. So let me just tell you specifically why we've been removed from the league. And Red, keep me honest, because I may forget something. So we missed meetings. Okay, we could be better at that, because I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, we're free of fault, and like we did everything to the letter. We missed some meetings, guys. We did. Okay, and we did not upload our stats in the timeline that they had by, like, I think a Monday or Tuesday. We eventually got the stats uploaded to a Wednesday, and it was a disconnect in communication. And the film was uploaded to watch game film, but it wasn't moved to the locker. And another one was that we owed the league $250, which when we realized that we owed them $250, we paid them the $250 before the league started. And that's what happened, guys. That's it. We did not shoot guns. And Saudia, to keep it on the timeline, that's the order that it happened in, Saudia. It happened in the order of, we did not go to the league meeting, which, by the way, the league was aware that we put 2 GMs in place and to communicate with them about the meetings. And they were accepted as being delegates and, you know, managing partners for the league and to represent us. They were put in the Facebook group, and the owners, myself and Red, were removed from it so that those people can be in the group and attend the meetings on our behalf. And that was unacceptable. It was acceptable to put them in the Facebook group. It was acceptable that they were the general managers. But now all of a sudden, when you have to come up with this narrative to remove us, now it's unacceptable for them to be representing us in the meetings. We owe $250 for the league fees.
Hold on, Brian. Hold on. Just to make it clear, Mo Giles and Butter was available for those owners' meetings.
Right.
They wouldn't let them in those meetings, those monthly meetings. They wouldn't let them in there because he was obsessed with just talking to Brian. He agreed when April told him she started her new job, was putting Butter and Mo Giles in charge. He agreed that was cool and that's what we can do. He agreed to that. If he didn't agree to it, they would have never been in the owner's chat because he has to accept everybody into the owner's chat. So I don't want y'all thinking that we missed some meetings because we missed the meetings because we weren't going to the meeting. No, he did not allow them in those meetings. Those meetings that she was talking about, we missed.
Correct.
That's what she's talking about.
Correct.
So I want y'all thinking that we was out here just missing meetings or whatnot. But she gonna back all the way up and tell y'all before those things what led up to them being on our ass. Excuse me, for a lot of people that don't curse. What led up to them being on our ass in the first place, meaning starting with the text message he sent you about how he was disappointed in the whole WFA situation, which started all of this.
Right. So I received the text message. Right. I received the text message that that there was disappointment that we had been talking to the WFA about going into the WFA. Yes, we had been there. And I don't know if you guys know how this works, but lots of teams talk across the different leagues to see which league are we going to land in. But the league owner seemed to be the entire way in how he dealt with us. The entire way that he dealt with us was very different after he felt as though we betrayed the league by saying that we were going to help him to stand the league up, and then he finds out that we're talking to the WFA. Well, that's a moot point because clearly we didn't go into the WFA. We stayed here in the AWFL. So everything just started being kind of weird from that, right? And then he felt as though we, weren't supportive in transferring the website, which we were. It's just that I can't do it myself. I have to put someone in place to do it, which I offered up a resource to help to transfer the website, and that did not seem to be good enough. And it just started being really, really weird from there, and just attacking us for very minor and very minute things that, again, you've got around the league, coaches pulling guns at games.
Hold on, Brian, before we get to that part, make sure they understand that that after that conversation where he felt like, because part of the conversation he felt like, because the website was down, the league website was down, and the Phoenix website was down because Brian and I were low on funds at the end of the season, so we told him, hey, you want the league website we've been hosting the entire year to stay up? Hey, she just asked for $65, y'all. $65. She didn't even ask for the whole thing. She told the man to send her $65 just to see the man was gonna send. That man didn't send her nothing. So we let it go down.
Right.
He thought.
So what happened? So it wasn't a let it go down, and just in all, because this is about transparency. So I didn't work for about a year and a half, and that's nobody's personal business, but that's how vulnerable I'm okay with being in this situation. I was like not working for almost a year and a half, and the only funds that I was receiving was from freelancing type work on sites that I was managing. And so for the entire year from 2024 to 2025, the site that I built for the site for the league, yes, I built the site for the league, and designed the logo and hosted the broadcasting to be able to watch the games on TV. I was in a position where I could pay for that before, but once I lost my job and again was out for a year, that total for the technology was about $500 to be able to do that, which I was paying while I was unemployed. It got to a point where I could not sustain that anymore. And so unfortunately, everything that I had technologically actually went down. I couldn't pay for it anymore. And so all of the sites went down. All of the sites went down. If I did not personally take down the league site, Atlanta Phoenix site was down. My personal business site was down. My ebook site was down. the like I said, the league site was down. My client sites were down. All of them were down because I couldn't pay for them anymore. And that's just me being honest. And that's how, like, again, that's the level of honesty I'm ready to have in this forum, is that I did not have it. My wife relocated to Michigan to get another job. You know what I'm saying? I downsized my property. I went through a transition. And so I did not take down a site. I literally did not have it. So when I told this man, they said, hey, it'll take $65 to do this transition. I don't have it. All of my shit is down. So, but for yours, it'll be $65 to take care of just yours, not these other sites. It'll be $65 and we can talk about getting it back up. But what he did was he talked to another league owner who incited him and who convinced him, no,
he talked to OJ
personally. He talked to the WNFC ownership and said, no, she did it personally. No, I didn't. And I got screenshots to show you. Every site that I managed was down. And so he felt the way that, why did you tie it to your business? Well, sir, because you weren't paying for it. I had to take care of it some kind of way. Were you paying for the hosting? So for an entire year, a bill of hosting was not paid for by the league. It was paid for by me. And so then he in turn said that we were going to have to pay fees for the 2026 season. Not a problem. Can you give us a payment plan on that? Which is what I asked for. Again, I was not working. Can you give us a payment plan on that? No, we can't do that. Not a problem. Then can you just pay me the $65 so I can transfer it to you? And he did not do it. He did not do it. So that's why we're saying that these things become personal, and things that you are not privy to knowing in the background. Will that be admitted? I doubt it. I doubt that they'll admit it. It'll be personal. I doubt that they'll admit that their disdain and their resentment that grew inside of them because of little things like this had anything to do with the decision making. But it seems to be very obvious and surface when you find out that we are disbanded from a league because of communications for meeting and stats that we were 2 days late on uploading, not for having reputable facilities, not for having a full roster, not for having a competitive team, not for hosting teams and being very hospitable, not for having locker rooms, not for being an upstanding team that plays solid football, not for anything egregious that you think that somebody would be kicked out of a league for. We were kicked out for not communicating in meetings, myself and Red, but putting other people in place who could speak on our behalf, and being 2 days late on stats, which, by the way, those 2 days late on stats, we paid the fine. We asked, could we postpone that? The answer was no. We didn't rebut it. We just paid the $550. Now, there are other teams in the league who have no stats up. Not one stat since week 1, game 1.
Still don't.
Still don't. To this day, you can go to Hosted Sports right now. You can look through Hosted Sports and you'll see there are teams that have no stats. On the last meeting that was missed, there were 4 or 5 other teams that did not make that meeting as well. On these fees that we were claimed that we owed, $250, which in the email says that we paid, you'll see that in the owners group, they were trying to collect fees from people up until game 1. And we were done with our balance in March. But in game 1, they were still being asked for people to pay fees. But every time it's communicated to Atlanta, y'all do this or you're kicked out. Y'all pay this now or you're kicked out. Y'all do this now or your team is jeopardy of not being in this league. Almost every communication we've gotten for this entire season is do this or else you're kicked out. Do it this or else you're kicked out. And so when we finally said, why are we getting these final warnings for being kicked out of the league? for these little administrative things that other teams are doing as well. And then when you have other leadership in the league who also says, hey, this seems personal. Why does Atlanta keep coming out of your mouth?
The assistant commissioner of the AWFL said that.
No, well, he just said it.
Yeah, I told him I ain't gonna hold name back. I'm telling everybody who said what. The assistant commissioner of the AWFL told Rod that this was personal. This had nothing to do with football. She said, y'all are making this personal. You and Vanessa is making this personal. She told him that. When she told him that, mysteriously, she got left off the email for the voting, like we got left off the email.
Yeah.
We got the ghost email saying, hey, we sent y'all an email. We ain't seen no email.
And there are other owners who didn't get the email either to vote. Right,
other owners that had us in their favor that didn't get the emails also. Like, bro, it was perfectly done. So yeah, tell it like it is. Go ahead. I ain't gonna interrupt no more.
No, that's the gist of it. It's
right. That's
listen, it. If the crime must meet the punishment, and every time throughout this season. From 2025 communications, it's been a tone, and it's been communicated to us, do this or else you're out.
And it's been communicated to us from Rod and Vanessa. Every time the emails come, it's from Rod and Vanessa. Vanessa is the owner of the Stars, the Carolina Stars, all right, which he put over compliance. I said, don't you think that's a conflict of interest, because her team has everything to gain? And I just got on the Zoom, and you and her was talking cash money shit about us for like 5 minutes. Y'all didn't even know I was on the Zoom. Y'all were talking so hard. And all she kept saying was, we need to throw them out the league, and he's just sitting there agreeing with it. So when I told him I heard it, he called me the next day. Oh, yeah, man, I'm not going to let her be a part of the decision-making, because, she can be all emotional, and she got skin in the game and this, that, and the third. I'm like, I ain't call you to talk about – I ain't want you to call me to talk about her. I want to talk about why we even in this situation he started out with. Like, what did we do to you other than help you stand in the league up? What did we do to you?
It got really weird when we started.
Yeah, so the assistant commissioner of the league, because we had to keep reaching out to her because she had no idea about any of this stuff. No idea about any of this stuff. She's the only one that know how to somewhat run a league, because she was fair the entire time. She told Rod not to kick us out the league. This wasn't fair. This was about him and Vanessa and the beef they had with Brain. That had nothing to do with us and the rest of the team. She told him not to do that. He didn't even invite her to the meeting where everybody got to vote and see was we gonna be kicked out of the league. He didn't even invite her. Didn't give her an email or anything. I don't care. I'm telling it all. I don't even care. Go ahead, Brian. I can interrupt the number.
No, I mean that's fair. It just got really weird when he got wins that we had conversations with the WFA, which is very fair. It's very fair that we would have a conversation with them about considering another league to be in.
Considering the championship game went down, we walked into a locker room. It got shit, blood, and piss all on the floors and the wall in the locker room for the championship game.
And throw up.
Okay, I've got that part too. For the championship game. Mm-hmm. For the championship game. So if somebody was talking to us or we was entertaining somebody, you have nobody to do that but yourself. Not to mention Phoenix left out the vote. Yeah, we didn't even get the vote for ourselves. We never even got to talk to the board. Because there's no way this would have went down and we was able to speak to the board. No way this would have went down. There was a personal vendetta from an owner of a league that felt like we were trying to help the WFA shut his league down when that website was down. That's all this about. And so from that point on, him and Vanessa just been picking. That's all that happened, if everybody really want to know what happened. And he says that he's OJ's protege. He talked to her and everything for all the decisions that were made. I don't care about nothing. I know it. I'm telling it. And so he talked to her and everything about this whole situation. So we would put out the WNFC and we put out the AWFL by the same person, you might well say. We might well say we got to put out both leagues by the same person. He don't even see how dumb it is, what he doing. Because she's not helping you. Nigga, she's setting you up for failure. How am I help my competitor? I'm gonna leave that alone.
But I'm sure that what he believes is that this person is an ally.
Nah, Lil Bill ain't his friend.
Right. And
Lil Bill ain't his friend. I don't care what y'all talking about. Lil Bill is not his friend. She playing that nigga. Go ahead though. I ain't gonna interrupt you no more.
No, because I had interrupted you, so you I deserve to be interrupted. But Sadia, I don't want to. I'm sure you've got more questions.
I just want to just to clear up some things, to ask a couple questions. So you said there were other teams missing meetings and not uploading stats, right?
Yeah.
To make sure they didn't receive the same punishment.
No. So the first meeting we missed, Saudi, let's tell you about that. The first meeting we missed, it was the owner's meeting. He had it set for one weekend. Me and Brain, we had our stuff ready to go, hotel rooms, car. We're gonna ride on down there and see what they talking about. Right?
We was gonna ride together.
This man moved the meeting back a whole week after she done told this man she started her job that week. They moved the meeting back to. At that point in time, the meeting got moved back. I went back down to Albany State, my alma mater, and they were honoring our team for back-to-back Black College National Champions, right? So there's no way I was finna miss that to go to a league meeting that was moved the week of where the meeting was supposed to be. So that's the only meeting I can say we both missed, and I can't even say it was on us because the meeting was moved, but I can say that it was on us. Other teams missed meeting. Other teams' stats and video went up. It was 60% of the league was either or both. Where their stats went up on time, or they didn't put stats up there, or their video went up on time, or they didn't put video up on time, or maybe even both. 60% of the league. The only team that got fined in week 2 was the Atlanta Phoenix. What made that crazy is no fines for stats, no fines for video not being up, starts until after the May 9th game, which was just played on Saturday. So how is it that we was fined $550 and told that we didn't pay the $550 by the Friday that we was going to play the Carolina Tigers, our season was over? Everybody else in the league is not complaining. I know people are, what? Everybody's about y'all. No. It's about being fair. If fines don't start until this time, that stuff, what you just saying right there, doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter. So there's no violation there. That was personal, just like the assistant commissioner of the AWFL told them when she found out that they fined us $550 because she didn't know. She didn't know. So when she found out about it, she was like, wait, they did what? Yeah, that's what we said when we seen the thing saying they needed $550.
And we didn't protest it. Like I said, I did ask, hey, could we get some extension, because it was asked for us to pay it the week of the game.
Of a road game.
The week of the game. I was like, can we get an extension? And we did not get an extension. Our team, these girls, listen, we've got an amazing group of people this year. And you know what? Not just this year. We've always had man, this experience at the Atlanta Phoenix is what it is because of, players like Saudi who stay committed and loyal and know that what we do behind the scenes. There are some people that have been on our team, moved on to other teams, who have helped come back and help players. And have stood in the gap. So we don't have a bad experience or a bad rap of players just really shitting on us and shitting on our names. Do people have bad experiences on the Atlanta Phoenix? I believe they do. But I think that's across the board. Women's football is hard to manage. It is hard to fund. It is hard to get the money together to do it. And it's done. And so there's some really good owners that struggle to get their entire season done. But we've never once had to pay fees for this team past May. Once we fund this thing, we stop taking fees. And so $550 to come up with during the week of a travel game, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. And we just asked for a little bit of grace to get to the next week. And we were told that we weren't able to do that. And so we thought that this is something that was being assessed to all the other teams as well. We thought that all the teams that don't have their stats up, then they must be getting fined as well. So you know what? We don't want to be non-compliant in that either. So let's just pay the $550 and move on and play this game, and we'll get through this travel game where we needed that $550, but we got there the best way we could with this huge bill to women's football. $550 is a lot to have to pay in 1 week when we're not, making any money from ticket sales, and everything we got to pay is going out. And we paid the $550. Then come to find out that, wait a minute, look at all these other teams that didn't have their stats up, and we didn't have our stats up, but we got them up like 2 days later. But in the following week, there were teams that still didn't have their stats up.
No, those stats was up 2 hours later.
2 hours later, pardon me.
Because they was already done. They just wasn't published to the.
Pardon me. It was the film. You're right, Ray. It was the film that was not moved to the locker. Right. And so we just had some technical misunderstandings on how the thing was done, but we still paid the fee. We didn't even lean on it's a technology issue, but we paid the fee, thinking again that this was assessed to the entire league for people who didn't have their stats. We look at the stats on Hosted Sports and we see team after team after team that don't have no stats up. We look at watch game film, we see teams that don't have no film, and it's like, wait a minute, but we just paid $550 and we was told that if we didn't, we're out of here. So that's when it became blatantly obvious that there was some unfairness in this, and what was happening with the Atlanta Phoenix was way different than what was happening with other people. Did we not load the film in the stats in the time that was done? Yeah, we could get better at that, and we did. And you'll see the weeks following, we didn't skip a beat. You'll go to Hosted Sports right now, you'll say 3 games loaded, 3 games of stats. You look at some other teams, they got 3 games loaded, 2 game stats, 2 stat games. 4 games played, 2 stats. 3 games played, 0 stats. Whoa. The math is not math, and this is just about Atlanta doing it. Right. Atlanta being targeted and saying you're kicked out of the league. And so when we got this final warning, it was like, why are we getting a final warning for something like administratively? Again, we're putting a quality team on we ain't pulled out no guns on nobody. We are playing on a field that has lines, and no other team has to come and help us line the day of the game. We're providing locker rooms, and I'm citing all these things because this is the experience in women's football. The experience in women's football, you're going to come across teams that an owner going to pull a gun, happen. An owner going to try to fight a player, happen. Going to show up, ain't no field ready, happen. No scoreboard, happen. No water, no ice, happen. No locker rooms, happen. All 13 players to pay for 4 quarters, happen. But we show up a solid team, and we understand there are times where teams must be kicked out of leagues for the integrity of the league. We understand that. We literally had a vote about a particular team last year. And guess what? That team was allowed to be a part of the voting so that they can speak on behalf of themselves and justify what their position was. This decision was made, and Atlanta was not invited to have that same courtesy. But we have a team last year who was given the courtesy to speak on their behalf, but it wasn't afforded, and it wasn't given the same courtesy to the Atlanta Phoenix. So pardon us if we think it's personal, because the crime doesn't meet the punishment. I can get a ticket every month. I can get a ticket in my car every month, and I pay it. You can't graduate it to grand theft larceny. I just paid a ticket.
Oh, yeah.
I just paid a ticket. But you don't, because it happens every single month. Not to say that these things happen, I'm just saying, but you don't graduate petty crimes and misdemeanors to robbery and assault and battery. Jail, no bail. And that's what it feels like. And that's why it feels like it's personal.
Mark Hutchinson said, I'll be honest, I asked not to vote because of that reason.
And we're continuing, and this is what's happening in the background, and we appreciate that. And what's happening in the background is that owners are reaching out to us and saying this is not fair. And again, and I understand that you may not have the confidence and the brand and that what we've developed, and you're a newer team than we are. We are a more established team, and so some teams don't have that stability. And you're in a market where you don't have a whole lot of population where you've got a good talent pool. So I'm not dogging you because you're not standing up for yourselves, because your team probably can't withstand being kicked out. Somebody saying something that's erroneous and something that's wrong on them. We believe we can stand on our business, the business that we created 15 years ago. We believe we can stand on that. We are going to stand up for our team. And if that means that you don't like me and you don't like red, that's fine by us. It literally is Atlanta culture. You don't have to like Cam Newton crossing his legs. You ain't gotta like that hat. You ain't gotta like them little girl ass shorts. You ain't gotta like none of that he do. You ain't gotta like that. You don't have to like, Killer Mike. You ain't gotta like T.I. You ain't gotta like none of them and what they say. But on Atlanta, we gonna be Atlanta. And that's our culture, and that's who we are. And that's what we stand on. Now, we can't do that in Utah. Utah is a whole different brand. We would not suggest that in Utah. But in Atlanta, if it's unfair to us, considering that one of the grandfathers of Atlanta is Martin Luther King, if it's unfair to us. It's in our blood. It's in our DNA to stand up for what's not right. And we will say it in an owners meeting. We will say it to the owners, and we will say it, and we will be the only one in the room to say it. And when we are, and those owners come to us in the background and say, "You're right. I don't like it either. They didn't ask us for our bank statements. They didn't ask us for our tax returns." When I say stuff like that, I'm not making that up. And owners saying, "Hey, we want to leave, but we can't. We have nowhere else to go. We want to say something, but we can't. My girls would leave us because they would believe the story. They would believe what these owners put out. Me and Red just ain't cut like that. I'm sorry, we're just not. And I don't believe a whole lot of us on this team are not.
Right. We normally don't address nothing. We just let it fly, you know what I'm saying, or whatnot. But at a point in time, because from the get-go, like, we put so much into helping stand the AWFL up, because if nobody don't know, it's only 9 teams that we got here. We had teams calling us out the woodwork to make sure that it was the real Atlanta Phoenix that was playing in the AWFL before they signed up to play in the AWFL. We had they calling us, making sure it was the real Atlanta Phoenix. Is it really y'all over there? Like, y'all for real, y'all over there? They were really calling us, and we helped build this league up from the website to the logo to everything. And so to be in your feelings and to do us the way you did, that's crazy. That is just crazy. But anyway, what's your next question, Saud? I know, because I get to talk.
So I just want to talk about the rules of the league.
Okay.
And I see that it feels, well, from what you guys are saying, that Atlanta was definitely targeted. And I just want to know, what exactly rules did the AWFL say that Atlanta violated?
So I screenshot earlier. Go ahead, Rick.
No. They said we missed meetings and we didn't have our film and stats up on time. That's it. That's what they said on paper. That's all they said on paper. That's it.
We would love for it to be more. We would love for it. We would love to have been kicked out for more. We would love to have been kicked out for more.
And they trying to convince us that they said 26 people voted against us, and I think 7 or 9 was with us. All right, that means that was every team in the league, right? That would have had a vote. Ain't no appeal, because they are the appeal. Which means that every team in the league would have voted, right? Well, we didn't vote. We know for sure it's 4 other teams didn't vote. And then it's like 3 teams that ain't even in the league no more because they don't vote for the rest of the season. So where did all these votes come from? The assistant commissioner of the league wasn't in there on the vote because you didn't give her access to it. So where all these votes come from?
Well, it also matters in that what was the message that was given to the people who were allowed to vote? What was the messaging? What was told to be the reason? What was it spent? What was Rod and or the ethics compliance person? What were they saying were our infractions? Were the infractions of missing meetings? Technically, yes, but again, we put people in place who could go to those meetings on our behalf, and they're not allowed. And it's just like, well, why are you even allowing them to be a part of the owners chat if, and we as owners are telling you these are our delegates and they can make these decisions. And here's another thing, and I know Red and I are okay with this. Pretty much, but Red and I are okay with this. If Red and I are not able to be on a meeting, and there is a vote that happens during that meeting, and there's some change or outcome or rule that comes out of that meeting, Red and I are okay with, well, you know what, shit, we have no say so because we weren't there. That's the consequence. If you are not there in the meeting to speak on behalf of your team on a decision or a vote, then we lose the right to be able to protest that particular decision because we weren't in the meeting. We're okay with that consequence. And that seems like a fair consequence. So, given that we're here to play football and we're going to play whatever team you put in front of us, whatever rules, see, because we've been in leagues before and we didn't agree with the rules. We've been in teams on the, we didn't agree with the what's the rule? What's the one? The 9 where you could get the 9 points for the was the pick 9?
The pick 9. Yeah, that bullshit. Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't agree with that. But guess what? We still played. What are we gonna do? Not play the game? We didn't agree with that.
Yeah.
But we're still gonna play.
We were the first team to get out 12 points too.
We're still gonna. Hey, whatever rule you got, okay, whatever rule you got, and we want the rule to be able to, you know, the knee doesn't make you down. You can get up if you're not touched and keep going. There's all kind of rules that we agree or don't agree to. But if we're not there to vote on it, we're okay with, hey, we have nothing to say about this. If you don't vote, you can't complain. And that's the stance that we take. So if we don't get on these meetings, oh, can we see the recording? Can you give us the meeting notes from it? Can we call another owner? Can we call another owner and get the gist of it? But I hope that you people who are listening understand that you don't kick teams out of leagues because they missed meetings and they were a couple of hours late on uploading some stats. That's what happened, y'all. We really wish it was more. We wish, like I said, it was a gun shooting in the air. We wish it was a coach fighting a player. We wish it was, we technically have no field to play on. And so now the team who was traveling, now they have to host the game. We really wish it was, we only have 13 players to play. And now it's dangerous for those players to finish a whole 4-quarter game. We wish it was things that were more egregious. We really do. And so that's why make it make sense for us that it's comms and stats. Comms and stats, y'all. We wish it were cuter. We wish it were more fancy, but it's not. And you might not like the way that I say things. You might not like the way that Red stands up, because he will fight for his players. You will not kick his players out of the league for silliness that you see across football.
Beautiful. He ain't walking down no handshake line punching no player though.
Nah.
We're not punching players. We're not. You know what else we're not doing that we've seen happen across women's football and in this league? We're not going to target you for your religion. We're not going to call you, you know, racial slurs in the game and during the end of the game. If you wear a head covering, you good with us. We're not going to talk about you. We're not going to call you out. We're not going to do that. But these are things that we've seen happen in this league.
Not gonna
Why did I think why did the Vipers and I didn't see the other one. It said why did the Vipers something, but I didn't see the rest.
Oh, the grievance said that they filed one against Portia and they filed one against I think C Murder. It was two of them, right?
But
Who
his
is it?
name is Tim Sam.
Who is Emmett Jigger? But I'm finna kick them right on the potty again. Hold on.
Stupid ass folks. Get y'all ass off the lines.
Hold on.
Fucking
Give me 1 second.
I don't know what
Duck ass people, get the fuck up our live, bro.
Oh man.
Hold on.
Yo, get these
Don't
kids out here, man.
disrespect my son.
Okay, get in
out,
here.
brother.
That's some random.
Right, that made me forget what I was saying.
Who cares?
About Portia and C Murder.
So they were trying to. So they were saying that Portia and I think it was C Murder. They were saying that that they was playing.
Are you
they
serious?
was playing dirty. So they hold on 1 second, y'all, because I'm finna block this motherfucker right here.
What the
Who? How did they get on our shit?
Right? How the fuck?
It's open to the guests and fans, not just us.
Whoever this
I just blocked them. We just blocked. We knew we was gonna get a couple of them in here, so we
made the announcement before. Yeah.
Right. So they was trying to suspend because baby girl and one of the players, they got into it. Baby girl snatched the helmet out, threw that motherfucker about 15 yards, right? So I was cool with baby girl getting like suspended the game. Anyway, so the grievance was filed in the grievance. The grievance had a whole bunch of crazy stuff in it. It was saying stuff like our coaches was cussing out the players when they was coming to our sideline. And anybody that knows me, they know that's the one thing that I do not tolerate. I don't even disrespect my own team. Why would I disrespect another woman on another team that I don't even know? If something good happens on our sideline, I say, hey man, that's a good game. Everyone's going around, red trees players, trees players like shit.
That's Amanda.
That's who?
That JJ person is. You need to
Somebody from the Vipers of the Stars.
JJ.
Get
the bug out.
Right, I got this. Give me 1 second, y'all. Remove.
Seems like we got some
bots. You get them bots when you start telling the truth.
With somebody that I like.
Right, you get them bots when you start telling the truth. But anyway, they were trying to suspend baby girl and whoever the other player was. But the assistant commissioner came in and cleared it up. But they were saying that our coaches was turning the players on the other sideline and all kind of stuff. And we know personally that didn't happen at all. That didn't happen at all during the game. We know that personally. I was on the sideline. We never disrespect the other teams or whatnot. And that's what they filed in that grievance. I've never called a player on my team or any other team the B word. Everybody know what I'm talking about. I've never did that. I don't even talk like that. So that was they filed in the grievance.
Us guys. That's just the whole purpose. You don't even call us guys. You make sure you use the right pronouns when you talk to us. Like
jacking off, man. Stop jacking off.
Who's this Jose Lagoons person?
Yo,
stop. I got it, Brian. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Stop jacking.
I got it. Boom, boom, boom.
What the?
You said something about jacking off.
Yeah. Game. Yeah, I might know what he got going on, bro. Like, cool. I ain't gonna do nothing to kicking them out. Just keep sitting back. But yeah. So and I forgot what the stars were said. I got to go back and look at that. But I remember the one that the Vipers had because that was the first one we got. And then after that point, I just felt like we were being picked on.
Get back evidence, jiggly boy. Don't ever fucking disrespect me ever again before I smack in your jaw, right? Listen, don't ever disrespect me ever again. Don't kick me ever again.
Shut your bitch ass up and get the fuck off this live, nigga. So fuck you up in here.
Hey, dog.
Hear why they say we crash outs?
That is crazy.
Shut up. We not in the fucking mood, bitch. Get the fuck off the fucking line.
Oh, what the fuck, man?
What the? They done sent the live to their kids. Or
They
something.
did. They didn't sit there like, but you know.
It's probably that Fourth and Trenches troll
Probably.
on Facebook. That's what it is. Cause they swear they know what's really going on.
But anyway, we ain't gonna get off track. But anyway, and the Carolina one filed the one about the film, and there was a whole bunch of other stuff in there too. So those was the two that I know of personally.
So all this was from word of mouth. Were there any like evidence of this, or it was just like word of mouth?
No, we have all the emails. We have all the emails, transaction of everything dealing with these fines and all this stuff like that. And yeah, we got all the emails. We ain't just saying this to be saying this. Like we can drop it or whatnot, but we ain't just saying it to be saying this. I wouldn't even came online. We had stuff against the WNFC. We just didn't say anything because we just didn't care. We wasn't gonna do all them women like that. Like we was telling them before we got on the Zoom. It ain't about us. With us, it's all about the women. I'm talking about all the women across the country when they come down to women football. We've seen this thing grow into something that could be beautiful. April and I, we know where we come from. Sorry, you came from where we came from, so you already know. You've seen the evolution of it, and it grew into something beautiful. You know what I'm saying, or whatnot. But you have people in leadership positions that's messing up the game. That's really tearing up and messing up the game with lies and envies. Everybody can work together. Everybody can work together. But the problem is everybody want to work with you when the resources are for free. When you start asking for money for the resources, now, this nigga tripping. They think they better. No. It's time to pay for the free resources. They no longer free or whatnot. That's what the problem is. But yeah, we do have information for all of it. We have it. It ain't nothing we said that isn't true.
Yeah, we can show you where I think in the ethics and compliance document, it doesn't say anything about missing meetings is non-compliant. As a matter of fact, that's something that, again, the same meeting that we missed, which is the very last meeting that was missed, 4 or 5 owners also did not make that meeting. Okay. And here's the thing, I don't want to keep talking about meetings and stats. I don't want to keep talking about meetings and stats. But that's what we were told. That's right. What we were told is the reason. And so as ridiculous as it sounds to you guys, it sounds equally as ridiculous to us, considering that there are other teams in the league who missed meetings. And then it was also cited in the email we got.
You think you're fucking remove me, bro?
It was
I
also
fucking hate your fucking
email that we
fuck
got.
you in your fucking football, bro.
Don't get your bitch ass out of this fucking chat. Fucking fuck you up, bitch.
You shut the fuck up, bro. Fuck you.
God, wow.
Whoever this
fuck
JJ
you
person is, like, yeah, mute them. Looks like.
Yo.
But we could show you. We could show you that in the compliance, it doesn't say anything about missing meetings, but we were cited for missing owners' meetings when we put people in place who could represent for us, and they were not allowed to be a part of the meetings. Then we could show you that the stats is, was uploaded and we paid the fine for it. We want it to be more, but it's not. It's not. This is not about football. It's not about us doing outrageous things on the field. It's not about us hurting anybody. It's not about us. And we were told that we were disrespectful. If you notice our socials, we pulled back on our socials this year. We ain't even going out because it's like, listen, we don't want the smoke. We just want to play football. We haven't disrespected the league when there are other teams in this league and others who go out and say some terrible things about the league. There are people who go out and say terrible things about the WNFC. We don't. But we're cited for being disrespectful. And we don't do it. And that's why it's like, listen, like, we want to just play football. We want to put a competitive, great brand on the team. And when you tell us that our brand got to be like everybody else's brand, we are going to say something about that. When you tell us our brand has got to march the line and why aren't you doing it like, well, this team does it like, and then well, okay, well, well, we don't move that way. Is that okay? Is that okay for Atlanta to have a sense of identity and know who we are and who we are not? We're not
Buddy, I'm
trying
still
to,
here, nigga.
we're not
Ever
we're
get
not
fucking
trying
bitches?
to
Yo,
Atlanta
shut
the
your mouth,
Atlanta
alright?
the Atlanta Phoenix team is not trying to find itself. The Atlanta
Bro,
Phoenix
you're fucking
team
unit, bro.
is
Fuck you, bro. I'm
not
back for the
trying
fuckers in the unit.
to
Fucking stopping me, bro. Fuck you and
is
your
not
fucking
trying
phone.
to figure out how to brand. The Atlanta Phoenix team is not trying to figure out how to conjure up followers from 1,000 and 2,000 and 3,000 people. The Atlanta Phoenix is not trying to figure out how do we get more than 100 or 200 people to like our stuff. We're not trying to figure that out. So when you give us a model for people who need to figure that out, God bless them. Call us and we could probably even help you to do better. But when you try to tell us to do things that you're doing so that you can get there, that's not something that we need to do because we're already there. I'm gonna get off that high horse.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So, just to go back real quick, because I see there's a lot of comments and questions in the chat. Okay. Red, you said you got on a Zoom meeting. Can you say what exactly was said during that meeting in Zoom that you hopped on?
Yeah, so the last Zoom meeting they talk about we missed or whatnot. So for the people that don't know, I'm a driver or whatnot. I drive, so we don't always have the best.
Wait, I'm still
we
here.
don't always
What are you
have
talking
the-
about? I'm still here, buddy.
Pull my block, bro. I'm fucking back, bro. Jenny, fuck you, bro. Jenny, you guys fucking think you're gonna remove me? Nah, not gonna happen, bro. All you say fucking
Yo,
quiet.
I'm still here. Don't ever fucking.
Where y'all parents at?
They probably wanted to send them. Ask me the question again, Saudi. I'm over here. I'm tripping.
Hey, Big B. Hey, I'm so big. Oh, Rojo.
Okay.
Little nigga.
All right. I'm gonna talk about when you hopped on the Zoom meeting. I wanted to know. A lot of us wanted to know. What did you hear? Okay.
Boom. So, all right, cool. I'm driving, whatnot. So when the Zoom meeting started, I click on the Zoom meeting. So it's spooling. So it kept saying, connecting soon. So continue to drive about 20, 25 minutes later, boom, it clicked in. So or whatnot, it put me right into the Zoom. So when the Zoom came on, it was Rod in there, and he was in there with Vanessa, the owner of the Stars. And she was in there saying that the Phoenix need to be kicked out of the league. We've been disrespecting the league for 2 years, and he's been letting it go on for too long, and we trashing the league name and all kind of bullshit, right? So they was talking so hard, they didn't even realize I was in there. When they heard I was in there, that's when he kicked me out, and he wanted to call me the next day. But yeah, he was just trashing the Phoenix or whatnot, and that's when I told him, I said, hey, this got to be a conflict of interest, because she shouldn't have no bearing or no weight on anything dealing with the Phoenix, because she owns a team that's in our same division that we don't beat 3 times. Yep, that's what happened.
And who clearly had some who clearly had some things to say about us because we didn't treat their guest or friend nice in a real, being Ray Lewis. And so it's been bad since then. And I wish it were more than this. I really do. I really wish it was more than this. And then when you couple that with the league owner and a commissioner in the AWFL,
I mean, fuck you, April. Fuck you, Rojo.
Constantly calling the other leagues.
You're not kicking me out ever again. I fuck you, iPhone. Fuck you, Corsia. Fuck you, Scooby-Doo.
Then, it feels like it's cahoots. It's a collaboration. It feels like it's these two people coming together, and is spirited by the person who initiated this whole thing from a previous league. And now they want to make sure that Atlanta Phoenix don't play nowhere. I'm going to finish what I started. I started by kicking them out of the WNFC and I want to make sure that I want to make it hard and difficult for them wherever they land. That's what it feels like. Because like I said, I wish that we got a letter that said it was something more than what it was. I wish it was more than missing some meetings and uploading stats late against other teams who have missed meetings, as well as not even ever uploaded stats and film and showing up to teams and games with under 20 or 13 players. I wish that this were about us being terrible at football and this whole disrespecting the league. Again, you can go search. You can't search Atlanta Phoenix and AWFL anywhere about us saying anything negative or derogatory, but you can certainly go look at some other teams. There was a whole nother team that they got on the call with the commissioner once upon a time, and the league is super new, and dragged him in his face. Don't nobody want to be in it, and calling it the awful league all in his face or whatever. Like these are things that we have never done. We've never done these things. We've only been respectful. I mean, I wish it were more, but and this is why it feels personal.
I feel like it's very personal because the fact that the assistant commissioner wasn't involved in any of this, that she didn't know any of this, right? What's going on?
No, she didn't know it. No, we the one told her about it. She didn't even know. We got the text message proving it because she texted us telling us she didn't know. Once we enlightened her what was going on, we got all that. That's why I said if he say we lying, somebody send him the link, let him get on, let him tell us he lying to our face.
And then another thing that seems really weird, if this is up and this is a standard operations, is there's a team that forfeited their whole season after, I think, week 2, week 3, it might be
Carolina
week 2.
the Carolina Queen.
Right. And so they unfortunately had to bow out of the season, the entire season. We were aware, we were notified that we did not have a game May 9th at all because this team has bowed out of the season. Okay. Mm-hmm. Now all of a sudden they bow out. They have not been in the league in at least 2 weeks now. To at least 2-3 weeks now they haven't been in the league. And now all of a sudden the game that we were just supposed to play on May 9th, they get awarded the 30 points for the forfeit and we get the 0 for not playing the game. So make that seem unpersonal. Make that seem like we were in the league. We didn't bow out of the league. They bowed out of the league. Neither one of us played the game. And so now that this
still would have been on top with our 30 points. We still would have
30 points and we get 0. Like, what do you? How is that not and to tarnish us? How is that not to punish us? And again, I'm okay with consequences, but the crime must match the punishment. And being kicked out of a league means something egregious has happened, something severe has happened. And my recommendation, which does not matter at this point, is if we are out of compliance with comms, then maybe you just say we are not allowed to be in any meetings anymore since we don't come to them. Maybe you say that, we pay a fine for that, which is what Red and I were fine with doing. Maybe there's other things that you do other than escalating something non-egregious, not something like a misdemeanor, to you're kicked out of the league entirely. It seems like they were waiting for that to happen. And again, and somebody says, why don't you appeal? Ma'am, that's not how women's football works. That's how these women's football leaders do. They make it up as they go, and they keep things personal, and who gonna check them? Who gonna check me, boo? Who gonna check them? The person who checks them, they always kick them out. The person who checks them always gets kicked out.
But the only league that has a board is the WFA, a real board.
I can tell you that our experience in the WFA, out of all the leagues, has been the best, has been the most favored. And unfortunately, with the WFA, there's issues there because of my relationship with the WNFC. Because I helped to start the WNFC league, the WFA feels a way about me being a part of a team in the WFA. That is against me. I will be honest with it. And again, I'll ask me because that's what this forum is for. That's the problem. That's the problem. I'm a part of this team, and they feel as though I assisted in founding and standing up the WNFC and helping other teams to leave the WFA to go into the WNFC. That is the problem with that. Me being in the way of that, which I will gladly step out of the way so that my team can move forward. That's easy, which I have done. My team is aware that I have stepped out of the managing of the team because of my contract with my job. I can't even manage this team anymore. Me being on this call is out of compliance of my current work contract. So I am okay. I have not managed this team for the entire season. I'm okay getting out of the way if everything seems to be targeted and personal, and I seem to be in the middle of it, lingering on from how this person continues to feel about me, and now they're following me everywhere I go to make sure I don't do and I don't have, and it's spilling onto my team. I will get the fuck out of the way, which I did this year, and look at what happened. Because quiet is kept, not quiet. The AWFL commissioner called the WNFC last week, and decided, and now here we are. Now here we are. So tell me where there's not cohesion.
Well, what would have been fair to me is if you were going to have a board or whomever, and you allow one owner to be there, you should have gave that privilege to every team in the league to have a representation on the board, period.
Mm-hmm.
Not no one person, not Callie from the Vipers to be the international director, not whatever the hell Vanessa was, compliance coordinator or whatever the hell it was. You should have had somebody appointed from every team to be a part of that so that it could be fair and that it would be across the board that everybody knew.
And to the owners that are on other teams that are texting me and in support and out of respect for your teams, and you're not able to, I appreciate it. Red and I appreciate your support, and we hear you, and we will get back to you, and man, and we appreciate it. We appreciate these other owners that are texting me in support and how unfair this is coming across, and you're welcome for us being able to share what's happening, and that you now have some understanding, and you co-signing on what we're saying. And again, I don't want to put people's business out there, but apparently some of y'all are on the call. We appreciate that. Thank you.
We definitely appreciate it.
You're right, but a board, because last year when this decision was put in front of some folks to make a decision about a team that was just was kicked out of the league last year, that team at least had the opportunity to say something in a forum and represent themselves and justify what they were doing and their actions, but we weren't given that. So Saudi, you got anything else you want to ask us? Because we'll tell it, honey.
Yeah, I want to know. I'd hate to bring WNFC in this, but I just want to know, now that they both pretty much did the same thing, what do you guys think the real reason was that for? The real ultimate reason?
I believe the real. So what we were told is that we're non-compliant. What we're told is that we're non-compliant on following through with league policies and rules, and that's what's said. But what I believe it is just that, like I said, we don't agree with some of the things that the league does, and we say something about it. For example, and this is how silly it can get. For example, what's a good example, Red? For example, replica jerseys, the replica jerseys in the WNFC. And I'm not saying that this is one thing, but I'm giving you an example of the things that are problematic for leagues with us. The replica jerseys came out. We were told that we were going to have a say-so in the design. The replica jersey comes out and we don't have a say-so, and it ends up being something that we literally cannot, we know we can't sell to our fan. It ends up being something with a peach and some Salad Beauty Supply lashes on it, and not even our team colors. And so we were told that we must commit to selling 24 jerseys, and we did not believe that we could do that. We did not agree with not having a say so in the design, and we did not want to commit to selling 24 to our fan base. And so we respectfully declined to market that jersey, but we also continued to support our other team owners and promoted them. And we actually created a reel where we ranked them 1 to 10, which ones we thought were the best, but we did not promote that on our socials. And so once that happened, it was said about Atlanta that we are non-compliant, that we think we're better than everybody else, and we don't have a right to not promote the league design. But we were told that we would have a say-so. We never would have agreed to design a shirt that was with a peach and lashes. And so here's the thing, that's silly. We think that that's very silly to be mad at us for something like that when we are a dominant and a top team and we represent the league very well. But we did not want to sell that jersey. And when we went back to our players, it was like, hey, we got a jersey. Our players unanimously was like, we not selling that shit. So things like that, Saudia, happen. And so when things like that happen and we stand up and say, hey, this does not work well for our team, then we become the bad guy. And yeah, there's that. We become the bad guy. And like I said, I hate to hang it on something so trivial. You know what I mean? I hate to even use that as an example, but things like that happen, right? And then, you know, there's another example of, we've got officials. We once upon a time paid $500 or so for officials, and then all of a sudden, $575. We once upon a time paid $575 for officials, and then all of a sudden the league takes over the management of officials, and now that bill becomes $1,000, and we must pay it directly to the league. Well, Red and I had a problem with that when we saw that these are the same officials that we've been paying so we thought that we're going to pay $1,000, that we're going to get these new, better, fancier, more professional officials. When we saw the same crew come, we were like, whoa. We paid these guys $575, and we got 8, and we got 5 officials for $1,000. So we had a problem paying that invoice. We had a problem stomaching paying that invoice. It felt unfair. We said something about it. We actually held those funds because we wanted more clarification, and just like, why does this have to go through the league, and why is it the same people that we've been paying, and now we're paying a whole $425 more? So things like that tend to happen. And is it communicated to the league that, you know, well, is it communicated back and forth that that's the problem? You know, they take it as we're just being assholes. You know, they take it as just we're being assholes about it when we have problems with some of the decisions that are made. We have problems.
Oh yeah, the championship game. Remember, we hosted the conference championship game here, and they wanted us to run all the money through the league, knowing we had to pay the caterer for playing 3 games at that stadium.
And that's another site, right? That's another site. So so we have to host it. So people don't know. People don't know. The league does not pay for the games that you host when it is a playoff game. That is when we host the championship, when we host the playoff game, that comes out of our pocket. And we have to use our resources, and we have to continue to maintain those agreements so we still have good relationships. So when the league tells us that every dollar we make from the tickets have to go through the league site, and then we have to wait on the league to reconcile their payments and such, and then that money is sent back to us. Hey, we gotta pay for this field at the 0000 at the buzzer. We gotta pay for the field. We can't, and we make that money to pay for the field and pay for the officers and pay for the photography and pay for the production. We make all that from ticket sales. So if you want us to funnel everything through the league and we got to wait 30, 45 days to get that back, you put us in a really, really fucked up position. We can't pay for shit. So we made an executive decision for the best for our business, that we were going to still sell our VIP tickets. And our VIP tickets came through us, and we did switch that through the team, through the league, but and the team had a problem with us selling our VIP tickets, which we sold our VIP tickets wonderfully. Okay, we sold a lot of our VIP tickets, and that's how we was able to pay for that. But when we voice ourselves, voice our opinions, but that's not fair. We can't survive like that. And we're standing up for our business. We're standing up for our brand. We're standing up for our relationships that we have with these vendors. It's a problem, Saudia. So I can go on and on and on about how that relationship got bad, but it's things like that. And that's why I high leveled it at, it's Atlanta standing up for Atlanta. It's Atlanta standing up on the brand of Atlanta and who we are. We go viral and somebody tells us to take down a shirt. We get messages about and things that we say on our apparel. Things we sell that funds us because we know our market. We get slick comments about, who do you think you are? You putting out blah blah blah. It's like, but it's Atlanta. We're being Atlanta. Have y'all seen HNN? Hood News Network? You can do that in Atlanta. You can't do that somewhere else. You can do that in Atlanta. You can put fuck Trump on the side of a building downtown when Trump is driving through downtown. You can do that in Atlanta. We know our market. We play to our market. We love our market. Our market is the home of free and civil rights. And I'd be damned if we not be that for none of y'all who's saying that we can't be Atlanta the way Atlanta is Atlanta. We got too many native Atlantans on this call. Me, Portia, Red, Saudia, out of Lithonia. Tree, Butter. We got too many people that stand on Atlanta to not be Atlanta. And because your team may not have an identity yet, and you're afraid to go up against the machine, and you're afraid to speak on yourself and stand for yourself, we can't minister for you. But we gonna stand on Atlanta, even if it means Atlanta gets the bad rap. But we are not afraid to just say, no, we're not going to do that. And that's what happened, Saudia. And then it became personal. And then the personal turned into something that you could legitimately say they did, and you start looking for nitpicking things. Y'all been in these relationships before. Ain't y'all been in these relationships before? Every little thing now is a problem.
And then I really feel like that investor was the last straw, though. The investor
was probably the last straw.
The investor was the last straw. She came in with a New Jack City move, get down and lay down type move with us. An investor wanted to invest in the Atlanta Phoenix or whatnot. The investor went through the league because they couldn't get our information directly. They go through the league. OJ gets to talking to the investor as if she our mouthpiece. How are you going to talk to somebody?
Well, I would say this: if you own a business, and someone wants to invest in your business, and you don't, or invest in your market, invest in your business, invest in your market, invest in something that you're associated with, and then you never have a conversation with this person, but someone can speak on behalf of your business. Is that fair? We never talked to this person. We never knew that there was someone who who was trying to invest in an Atlanta brand. We never found this out until the day we got the phone call and we was told, well, yeah, we don't want to do business with Atlanta anymore. Why? What's going on? What happened? And then when we try to come to a middle ground, and it's, well, we have an investor for Atlanta anyway, and we don't want to do business with you anymore. And then we find out how much you got from this investor, and then you end up kicking the investor out anyway.
Let's back up a little bit, because we got to make sure we give them everything. Because when she made the phone call, she was trying to tell us that they wanted to rebrand the Atlanta Phoenix. They wanted to rebrand Atlanta Phoenix, and we wasn't going for that. And they wanted to get rid of the coach that quote unquote had cussed out the lady at the playoff game when they already knew the truth of who really did it. I ain't even gonna put out there. Like, yeah, that's the part that we left out. Yeah.
But honestly, I feel like, and just like with the AWFL, I feel like they already knew what they wanted to do in the first place.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
But I feel like they already knew what they wanted to do.
Yeah, I agree.
And so when it was presented that, hey, we've got these issues with the Atlanta Phoenix, and these issues are with your coach cussing out executives, and we really don't like the way that Atlanta is branded. And so when you present these things as the reason, and that the relationship between the Atlanta Phoenix and the league has gotten turbulent and full of conflicts, and then you try to talk about these conflicts and work them out, and then you're just told never mind, we got an investor for Atlanta anyway, so it's not gonna work. Whoa, so you already knew what you was gonna do when you got on the call. You already knew that your conversation, your decision was motivated by this investor anyway, and you were never gonna pull us into the folds of having a conversation with this investor. You were never going to allow us to speak on behalf of our own business with this investor and vet this investor to see if this is something that we were willing to do. And telling us that this investor would come in and we'd have to take a minority seat in the ownership of the team. Oh, okay, well, let's talk about this. Oh, there is no talking about it. You've already made a decision that we're out. Well, damn. That's what happened. You already made a decision to take the money from the investor and get us out of the way. So 100% of the money goes one way and 0% goes another way. Another way being me and Red. That's what have happened.
Then the bogus ass letter come out.
Then the bogus letter saying that we have financial problems. We don't. And at the time there was a balance that was owed that equaled the amount for the officials that we were internally kind of protesting. We did not want to pay the officials $1,000 for, we know they $575. So yes, there was a balance, but there were half the teams in the league had balances. It happens at the end of the season, and then you reconcile it. So again, the playbook that you see happening in the AWFL seems familiar. Seems familiar.
The blueprint.
This is a blueprint for this, and it's funny, and it's this one person that's continuing to follow us to make sure that Atlanta Phoenix doesn't move forward. Atlanta Phoenix stops right here because for whatever reason we've ruffled panties. Panties.
Yep, told the public Phoenix was mistreating players, had financial issues, lied, said the team had already been on probation for a whole year. Oh yeah, I forgot all about them lies. But yeah, they definitely
I forgot that we were on probation for a whole year, but we weren't.
Definitely did. Yeah, we weren't on no probation, man, please. But one thing about it, two things, sure, we from Atlanta. If we know we finna get kicked out that year, we'd have turned up. The whole time.
Turned up, right? But we were told we were on probation. I think in like a November, December, and we had some things we had to clear up. One of the things we had to clear up, by the way, was to present our tax documents.
When they lied on, I ain't even gonna put her name out there. When they lied on one of our former players, I ain't gonna put her name out there. When they lied and said that she called them about coming to your crib, yeah. That's what happened.
Right. Yeah. So a player was flat out like, which I believe this player was a part of the problem, but come to find out later that this player never said what the league
Never
said
none of that stuff.
that she said. Never
She
said it.
never said it. OJ lied on her. She never said it. My bad. Lil Bill lied on her. My bad.
So we had some things that a checklist of things that we had to clear up in December, which we did. And I called a couple of other owners and was like, "Hey, do you guys have to provide this to the league?" And they were like, "No." And if they did, they were, I wish the fuck they would. They was like, we would never do that. And I was like, that's what I thought.
Hold on, but by this time we done figured out that we had a spy in the camp. We just couldn't put our hands on it. But by this time we figured we had a spy in the camp, which was Evan. I don't care about nobody knowing. We figured out Brown about this time, like something ain't right.
Wow.
He was working. She was working with the league. Kept talking about we need to get these financial statements to them. We need to do this to them. We need to do that to them. We like, hold on, you supposed to be on our side.
Right.
We know what we not finna do, and you know we not finna do that. Why are you telling these folk we finna get these folk this stuff? Yeah. And that's how Evan ended up over there with the truth.
Yeah, they sure gave her pen. So did.
And by January, we had already.
I'm about to go to
by January, we had provided the things on the checklist.
You want me to stop you?
And then, so if we provided things on the checklist, then we are now compliant and we are out of probation, and we move forward. And that's what happened. And then we find out at the end of the season that you're telling everybody that we played the entire season probationary. No, we cleared up everything. And these are things that were being asked of us. It was like, are these other teams being asked this? And we just, and it's like, why are we being asked for these things and nobody else is? And then we find out there's an investor. Then we find out there's an investor. It's levels to this. And that's why when the players get on these forums and they start talking all this, and it's like they really don't know how women's football operates so nasty in the background. There have been players who have converted to being owners, and you can call each and every last one of them and they will all tell you that it's some bullshit and they would not do. We've had somebody who was a player who converted to an owner and it was like, you know what, never mind, I'm good on this. I don't want to do this no more. Call Denver and talk to the player who converted to an owner. Ask these people this stuff if they'll do it again. The bullying and the tactics that are used in the background. And we just don't, you can't bully us. You can't bully us. Flat out. But these other teams, unfortunately, they have to take on some of the bullying, and we just stand up to it. And they can't stand it. They can't stand the leagues, plural. But they'll never come out publicly and say it. And as a matter of fact, we've never come out and said that we don't like the leagues. We just want to play football. But these owners, they text me like they, texting me now. I have owners that are telling me that they're afraid they'll lose their team if they say something. I have owners telling me that they gotta do it. What else? What other choice do I have? So you getting bent over and fucked in the ass.
Oh wow. Oh.
You know it. Yes. You know asking for y'all to pay how much for a franchise? You know you got players that wanted to be owners that showed up with the money to be an owner. Had solid business, strong representation, and was bullied out of even being an owner before it even started because nobody could answer them where the money was going to go. But they had the money. They had loan money. I'm going to tell you right now, a player who was going to be an owner had loan money.
Great representation behind
Great representation. Solid. And ain't no, they're no less prepared than you see some of these other people coming to the league. And they were all of a sudden told that they had an exorbitant amount that they had to pay to be a part of the league. And when they came with the money, they were still blocked. And talked about bad. And all they did was want to stand something up reputable and for people that they know love the sport. and keep growing this thing. Got all the heart in the world to do this. One of the best people I know. One of the best people I know. Had solid sponsors and was bullied, talked bad about, and they showed up with the money. That's what, and y'all don't know that as players. Because me and Red, we keep a lot, and now we've had general managers that have gone from players to general managers. They now see what happens in the background, that we will be not doing anything to bother anybody, but we get poked. You got players that converted to ownership that see what really happens in the background as well. They don't want to be owners no more. So
a lot of jealousy and greed, it sounds like to me.
I don't know what to call it, Saudia.
Yeah.
I don't know what to call it. I just know that I just know calling it not showing up to meetings and not having your status is not egregious enough to be kicked out of a league.
Yeah, that's not, and I feel like that's not an official reason for a league to remove a team.
Give us something else. Yeah. But kicking us out is like, okay.
As many times Jerry Jones and Dan Snyder got fined, their teams are still in
Give us a their fine. League. And I've worked for Roger.
Think about this, buddy. Think about this. And I'm just going to use the WNLT as my example because they got them folks over there paying all that money, right? If all them owners came out and said, and they stood together, all of them stood together, which we know they're not, and stood together like, hey, man, we're not going for this. They won't have to go for it. You know what I'm saying? Because if all of them threaten to say, we're not going for this, and we'll walk, then motherfucker gonna make exceptions like, okay, well, what y'all want? What y'all need? Because there is no league without the owners. There is no league without the teams. And that's the only part I could never figure out about women's football is how all of the women would never stick together when they know that all this is going wrong with them at the top. I'm talking about at the top. I'm not talking about the players. I can never understand that because I be in April ear barking. Hey, April, she be like, I'm already on it. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a lot that goes on that y'all don't know. And like she says, a lot of owners that won't say anything, but they will call us and tell us, man, I don't understand. Women, they don't understand they have the power. Them owners have the power. In this, not just the WNLC, the AWFL, all of them, the owners have the power. You don't have to go for that.
I literally just
you don't have to go for it.
I literally just talked to another owner just shortly before this, and I said that I think that this has some WFA tangents in Rod's feelings. I feel like he's has some residual feelings about that. And she literally said, do you know how many teams in the AWFL are actively in conversations with the WFA right now? Right now. For that matter, Mr. Leader of the AWFL is not even aware that the owners' meetings was leaked and the link was sent to the WFA and the WFA was on the call.
Oh yeah.
Don't even know. That's how this stuff is operating. So being mad, you know, anyway, I digress. Any questions from anybody that, you know, are we looking at the chat and seeing if anybody, are we answering questions?
Yeah, we're looking at the chat. I've been saying some of the stuff that made sense. Some of it was funny, you know what I'm saying, or whatnot. Let me go back in the chat, see, they didn't brand themselves, see, no, here, okay. Go in here and see what's going on. We love you too.
At the end of the day, we pay to play. Let's start there. We pay to play. This is not, it's as professional as they will allow the women to be at this level, right? But we pay to be here. It's still considered recreational for us, but it's an outlet. It's something that the women look forward to. It's camaraderie. It's unity. It's building something. And these motherfuckers are trying to take that shit because of their own pride. They can't suck the fuck up. And that's just a shame because all we want to do is line that shit up across the field. Let them on it now. Every down for a down, every motherfucking series, put it down on that fucking field and leave it at that. Let us pay what we need to pay to be in this motherfucking league and leave everything else the fuck alone.
And that's all we wanted, Butter. We just wanted to play football. And this was the season we were just like, hey, let's just play football. Let's not go out here and do this whole piss off everybody with the socials. Let's just keep our head down, play football. Whatever decisions you guys are going to make in these meetings or whatever, we're just going to play. And let us just do that, because we see that when we contribute our resources, it doesn't matter. We see that when we are active and engaged, it doesn't matter. We see that when we put a quality product on the field, it doesn't matter. We end up being in a league with people who are not putting the same effort in as we are, showing up with, maybe one side of the ball of players and playing on in somebody's backyard and not having bathrooms. And so we have to, we're
Speaking of playing in somebody's backyard, my bad. The championship game, the AWFL championship game. Speaking of playing in somebody's backyard. So for the people that don't know or whatnot, we made it to the AWFL championship game last year. And when we get to the game, we get off the bus, we think we're finna go into this nice, clean locker room with air conditioning, because that's what we're accustomed to. Especially, and it's a championship game. So, you're supposed to get the bells and whistles. At least that's what we thought. Right? Yeah, we was undefeated. Yes, at the time. We goes into the locker room, and I get in there maybe 2 minutes after my players, but I notice everybody sitting close to the front of the door, and I'm trying to figure out what's going on. The bathroom, the locker room itself had urine, pee, throw up, and blood all over the bathroom in the locker room when we got in there. So here it is, we had a game that's supposed to start at 6 o'clock. Here it is, we got a game that's supposed to start at 6 o'clock. We get there at 3 o'clock, right? It's supposed to start at 6:30, my bad. We get there at 3 o'clock for the game, thinking we're going to be in an air-conditioned locker room so we can go through our pregame routine. Now our players are sitting outside for an hour and a half because we can go in the other locker room because they had the all-pro players in that locker room. Let me say it again. The all-pro players was in the locker room, but the team that's playing for the championship didn't have a locker room.
Freaking link. Hold on.
You good? Yeah, I was just telling them about the championship game. So we had to put our players in the same locker room with the all-pro players with all their stuff in there. That's just the beginning of the championship game. Like I said, speaking of playing in somebody's backyard, nobody went out there to tend to the field at all. If anybody on here is a coach or anybody ever managed the field, y'all know how the football field is supposed to look, how the bees and everything's supposed to be out, man. The field looked like nobody had been out there and raked or moved the field in at least a half a season of football. The referees sped the game up because they had a bachelor party to go to. I wish I could be making a joke right now, but that's exactly what they told us. We need time to warm up properly. If y'all don't start the game in the next 15 minutes, we leaving. We got a bachelor party to go to. We can't sit out here in the whole another 30 minutes and wait for y'all to warm up. All of this is going on at a championship game, speaking of playing in somebody's backyard. So if we did speak to the WFA at the end of the season, when y'all say we had a right to?
Yeah.
It's a championship game. Our home game production and field and everything was better than the championship game look. The championship game looked so bad, y'all ain't never seen us re-put it up there. It ain't got nothing to do with the score.
Yeah.
It would have hurt our brand. Quiet as kept.
We got other plans.
And speaking of our pro team, we had players to pay for all pro jerseys, where he kept the money that was paid for the all pro jerseys, that he did not produce the jerseys, and said the reason why he kept the money because he felt like he was owed money.
Say that, Ms. Holmes.
And he did not. He did not get the jerseys. And didn't get the money either. So I had to hound that ass. And I continuously to hound him for money that was paid for a product which was the all-pro jerseys, which he said that he would refund the money. And never,
Yeah.
I ain't gonna say never did because I just recently got the money back yesterday, to be honest. And that's because I had to put that nigga out there like, hey, run me my money or we're gonna have some for real problems. He ain't want that smoke. And nigga ran that money back. So for the players that didn't get their All Pro jersey, that did pay for them, I will refund you your money for the rest.
Wow.
Because fair is fair.
Wow.
Yeah. Just got the money back.
Mind you, he just
Yes.
paid the media person. Oh, we forget about that. That's brain media person that's all over football right now. That's
Oh
brain.
yeah.
Oh, we forgot about that, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, Bo, that's Alconnett. Bo been with us in 2013. The first team ever. We ain't talking about women's football. The first team ever to live stream their games. Doing this. Bo did that for us.
Oh yeah.
Bo did that for us. Yeah, Bo did that for us. Oh yeah, we met with Bo strong. Yeah, he did that for us. He helped us. Reshape women's football. I don't care what nobody's talking about. With his production, how he shot the games and the things that he did on that end. We did it on the field as far as the uniform, on the look, or whatnot. You remember Saud when we first got in? You remember the uniform y'all had the first time? Not with the Phoenix, but we ain't gonna do that to you. But
oh my
we got
gosh. It's crazy.
Right. And I got a picture. But anyway, yeah, so you know where it came from into what it looked like now. People actually are excited about women's football. And I'm glad to say that we was the people that put our stamp on it. You included, because you and Cherie, y'all was part of the first wave of Phoenix and still here rocking and rolling. So yeah, man, it's a lot of this stuff be about envy, jealousy, and hate or whatnot. Everybody want to be the one to say I did it first. You get what I'm saying? It's okay if you didn't do it first and you doing it a little better. You know what I'm saying? It was a blueprint to it. You know what I'm saying? It's supposed to get better and better and better. But don't try to get me to dumb myself down because you ain't where I am and tell me to be humble. No, humble mean I got to stop being me so you can shine. Miss me with that. Yeah, nah, that what humble mean to me. I got to cut my light off so you can shine. Talk about be humble. I work too hard to cut my light off. And nobody on here should be letting nobody cut their light off. That word humble is misused like a mug. You only got to be humble when you the best one. You ain't never heard nobody tell no homeless person ask for no change. Hey man, just be humble. You know, you ain't never heard them say that when they ask for no change. You ain't never heard them say that. Like, come on, man. All right, I'm gonna start and let you talk.
All right, so this is Mo Giles. I'm a firm believer of you know, Atlanta Phoenix absolutely is the best team in the country by far, right? And I'm a firm believer in killing people with success. So my question is, what are we doing? What's next for Atlanta Phoenix? Where are we going from here?
We
F these
actually
folks.
we're actually in communication with. So here's the thing, Mo. We would love to tell you exactly what we're doing. Unfortunately, because people do get wind of things and use it and then block it, we can't necessarily tell you exactly what we're doing.
But best believe we good to go. Just leave it at that, and we ain't gonna say too much. And well, we'll tell you because you part of the general manager staff, so you'll definitely know. Yeah.
Offline.
So
I got you.
and we'll let our players know inside of our closed group. Right now, we letting all the fans and anybody want to hear what's really going on or whatnot. But yeah,
So
that'll
just
be.
to be clear, we moving on and
We
this
have
ain't
moved
We
on.
moving on. We have moved on.
Absolutely.
We just addressed this because we just were tired. We done been in two different spots and we haven't addressed the lies and the rumors. We just like, hey man, let's address it, get it out of the way so everybody know what really it was and just leave it at that. You know what I'm saying? Just leave it at that. But that's all we did. Yeah.
Fact. And I think this is great.
Right.
Yeah, I just want the listeners to know that we are moving on.
Yeah, we have
Period.
already moved on.
We already had moved on. Me and Brain did. I ain't gonna lie to you, I cried for a whole day now. For a whole day, I was tore up. I was tore up for a whole day because it was wrong and it was nothing I could do about it. Or whatnot. So I was tore up for a whole day about it. Then after that day of being, I had to keep moving or whatnot. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was wrong. Still was wrong yesterday. It ain't wrong today. Keep moving. You know what I'm saying? So that's what it was. But don't think I wasn't hurt.
But we had already kind of put something in
know me,
motion.
you know me.
We had already kind of put something in motion, like last year, and put that aside because of some feelings out of the championship game. And so we just started some things back up and said, hey, let's just go ahead and go do what we was going to do in the first place and then some. So in true Atlanta Phoenix fashion, we have the tendency to do things first, like Red was saying, and we those players banners that you see, we're the ones who put that out to be the main. Our very first game, we had almost every player. Saudi had a life-size player banner. Those are things that we gifted to women's football. Replica jerseys. Like really, we did replica jerseys, right? And the streaming and the putting commercials in our broadcasting and having the various angles and so not to say that other teams have not done it, not to say that other teams
going to football camp. That's something that Atlanta Phoenix started. That's something Atlanta Phoenix started. Going to football camp. Been doing since 2012. Then all of a sudden it became mandated in 2022.
Yeah. And so here's the thing, like, and we'll say these things and people are like, no, such and such did it. And it's like, hey, we're not saying that they didn't do it, but we're just saying that these were consistent staples that we initiated with our team, right? And so I say that to say this. We got something else that Atlanta's doing that you're not gonna see another team having done it. Not to say that you haven't seen it in women's football, not because football is football is football. There's only so many different things. Just like, we're not saying that we're the first ones to film a game. That's not what we're saying. We're saying that we're the first ones to stream it on a platform, on a professional level platform with professionalism behind it, right? Consistently for each game. Not that we had one game where somebody came in and did it as a favor and then rebroadcasted it. We're saying that we did it live, game after game after game after game. That's what we're saying that we are frontiers and pioneers of. So we're pioneering something else that you'll see that nobody's done it the way that we're about to do what we're about to do. And we should have stuck to it last year. And we're pretty excited about it. And unfortunately, we can't tell everybody here about it, but we will be letting our players know what the next level is. And definitely it is levels to this shit, what the next level is and what everybody should get ready for. And if you know Atlanta Phoenix, if you've been following Atlanta Phoenix, we always do things that somebody else has not done. This is not new to us. So stay tuned. Stay tuned.
All right. So Red, I know we're going to be closing. What time is it? Okay. Real soon. Red, you said you cried for a week. I'm just like a day. No. So I want to know what hurt it the most about how everything ended too.
It ended on a lie, right? So if it had ended on the truth, then you can accept that. It ended on a lie and there was nothing I could do about it, right? And I'm so used to always having a way, especially when it come down to the Phoenix, having a way to making it right. But it ended on a lie and it ended on collusion. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's the part that got me, you know what I'm saying, and whatnot. And it took all of this away from all these women that had nothing to do with that beef. It took everything away from these women that had nothing to do with that beef. That's what the wrong part about it with me was. I felt like that was wrong. That should have never happened to those women. If they would have not let us in the beginning of the season, okay, cool. Y'all would not have been on, spend all your money and did all the things y'all need to do to compete this season. But they wait till you got to the middle of the season, you riding high, you been out here competing or whatnot, and folks banged up, you good to go after the bye week, just for them to come and put us out the league and come with a list of bullshit stuff that's already been talked about with the league. We put people in place. You didn't want them. You just want to talk to April, but you okayed it. You okayed them being the voice for the Phoenix. So all the combination of that, and like I said, not being able to do nothing, just like April said, shit, we put a whole bunch of money into this. Ain't nothing free. We put a whole bunch of money into this. Everybody might not put the same amount of money into their team that we put in our team, but we put a whole bunch of money into our team every year. So to get nothing out of it in the end, and in the end this way, yeah, that kind of hurt me. But I wasn't crying the whole day. That was a joke.
He didn't cry the whole day. He was talking to
I know. I was just being funny.
I had to clear it up with them folks in the background. You know what I'm saying? Hey, hold on. I ain't crying the whole day. I was pissed off, though. I tell you that much. Same. Yeah. So
Brain,
that's what
I'm sure
had
you
me
probably
so
felt the
upset.
same.
I was here's because I had seen it happen before, and I kind of knew, not necessarily who was pulling strings, because I don't know. I can't necessarily say that, but I could definitely say that it felt the same. It felt familiar, and so you know how you get a scab for something that happens, and you're less sensitive about it when it happens again. It was kind of like that, right? And then I also knew that we had another plan to do something pretty historic, and so I was like, okay, I'm a person who believes in the universe. Like nothing bad happens to me. Things that are bad happen, and they present themselves as negative in this realm and in this dimension, but nothing bad happens to me. I only see that this is something that needed to move out of the way, and this is something that had to happen. My steps are ordered. Everything that I touch is ordered, and so this had to happen, and it may not feel good right now, and it may not be the way that I designed this to happen, but I feel like that there's something else that is bigger, better, and greater in this for the team and for everybody. And we were probably holding on to something that we should have let go before. And that's what I was saying about me and Red had decisions last year about something. We probably should have let it go before, and the universe is really just setting us up to close this door that we've been holding open way too long. So it feels bad, it looks bad, it presents itself in this reality and this dimension is bad, but it is good. It is good, and it's very clear that what we must do and what the Phoenix must rise to now. So what you see us do next is like, oh shit, I never saw that coming. So I got pretty happy about that. So I'm sad for the players because of what they put into it, and what they dedicated to, and what they committed to, and what they worked hard for. That's the most hurtful thing, which is why now that drives me. Their hurt drives me to make sure that the next thing that we do, and it's really very clear now. It's like, oh, okay, so I see what all of this is about now. Like when it happened here, it's like that's a one-off. But now it's like, oh, I get it now. Okay, got it. So showing your cards and showing really what is going on when it's becoming now blatantly obvious what it is, I appreciate that. I appreciate you showing me your cards. I appreciate you doing what you're doing now, because now I've got a different armor that I didn't have before, and I feel better about the armor that I've got now. Does that make sense? I hate to be philosophical and spiritual about stuff like that, but that's kind of where that's kind of who I am and where I am right now in life, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I just read a comment in the chat. It was a couple of games I could have filed some grievances when I against players, and especially like that Stars game, whatnot, the one that hit Galarza, and not taking light to what happened to Galarza. I've never filed a grievance for something that happened in between that rectangle in football.
Yeah, we don't do that.
If a referee didn't call it a foul or the referee missed it, and I went back and seen it on film, they just missed that, and I'll point it out to the referee the next time. You know what I'm saying, or whatnot. But I've never been the type of coach to file a grievance on nobody, because I don't think a bad moment this game should get you kicked out unless you bring a weapon to the field or something. You know what I'm saying? You might have a bad lapse or a bad play or whatnot, and it happens. So no, I didn't file any grievances. Yes, I could have filed grievances, but that's just not what I do. After the game over with, man, either we won or we lost. I'm that type of coach. But yeah, I could have.
We don't have a problem with any other teams, and teams thinking that we're lying or whatever. You know, that's fine.
We have no problem with no teams, no players for other teams, no coaches for other teams. We don't have no problem with nobody from no other teams, no players, no coaches, no nothing. No, we don't have no problem with nobody. Not even the Vipers, even though that's trying to be hyped up online. We don't have no problem with them folks. We don't have no problem with no players, no coaches. We don't have no problem with nobody. But we do know what happened. That's two different things. We do know what happened. We don't have no problem with nobody. It already didn't happen. So we don't have.
We're okay with people not believing us. That's fine.
Right. We don't care. I know we ain't lying.
Yeah.
I know we ain't lying. If we lying, like I said, Rod can get on this link right now. If we lying, he can get on here right now. If we lying, OJ too, get on here. We lying.
Yeah.
We ain't running from that. Get on. If we lying, cause we know they got somebody looking. If we lying, get on here and tell us we lying.
We said what it was.
We didn't lie. We told you what it was.
We literally said what it was. We did not attend some meetings. Okay. We did not upload our stats the day that they were due. We followed up and uploaded them. A couple of hours later, we had some issues with loading our film. We did that as well. And we paid the fine. We paid the fine.
65% of the league either did not have both of them up there or had neither one of them up there. But we the only team got fined $550.
I don't know if it was 65%, but it was some teams.
Yes, it was. They either had either or. What I mean by either or, no stats, hard film, and film on no stats. Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah, because I know, because I'll be the one in there looking on the thing when I'm downloading the film. I know exactly what I seen.
Right.
Yeah, I know exactly what I seen. Yeah.
But we did not. We're not saying that it's anything. We're not. We got the letter. We got the email. We can show it to you. Meetings, stats. Film.
Meetings that we had personnel ready for the meetings that he didn't want in there because he just wanted to talk to April. We got to make sure we say that too. So they don't think we missed the meeting like it wasn't nobody available for the meeting. He just didn't want them in the meeting.
Yeah. Yet again, no other team was fined, was sent a letter as a final warning, a probationary period, none of that. And they are still continuing to play and hype their teams up to get ready for their next game day. Period.
That's all we're saying, that the crime doesn't meet the punishment.
We told y'all at the beginning it was personal. So we told you it was personal. Yes. You let Saudi answer us more questions. You got them.
Okay, I see who posted a question, a comment. Raven posted I guess a comment from that picture about show paperwork. Yeah. You guys want to show paperwork?
What paperwork do you want to see other than the text messages between us and Rod, which I never and I'm gonna say it like this, and I mean like this. I never do peasant stuff. You know what I mean by peasant stuff? Like we're talking about while we're being targeted and out the league. Nothing we said needs any paperwork. What paperwork are you looking for? The text message between us and Rod them? That's peasant stuff that kids do back and forth towards each other. We have all the paperwork. Don't get it twisted. But we're not going to post it right, huh? That's peasant stuff. That's
I know it's peasant stuff, man. It was just for them ducks out there. I'm done fucking trolling.
Oh, no.
But it was just for them ducks out there. I'm done trolling. I'm done with the trad bag. I might do one video with the trad bag, but I'm done with that shit. That's it. It's just for them to see that shit. That's it. I'm cool. I'm back to the humble motherfucker.
You want to see the paperwork where it says what
Nah, them
think it's
fucking
for
ducks
some other
want to see
reason.
it. Them fucking ducks want to see it. Whatever roster they on, these fucking ducks want to see it. Trash ass
They think
folks.
it's another reason. It's the
I don't
reason
know.
that we showed you. It's in the email.
I told them to take the silicone out their mouth, man. It's still in there. I don't know, bro. But yeah, I just want to let them folks know that's about it. But yeah, let me hop back off in the stand.
Nah, you good. Yeah, I'm like, what paperwork? We tell you the exact same. We telling you the truth. And like I said, we'll sit down, not sit down with these motherfuckers. Because I don't sit down with people that I don't fuck with like that. But I would get on a live or a Zoom with them and goddamn, let's talk about it. Cause they ain't gonna lie in front of them, and I ain't gonna say that. Let's talk about it.
I told them
I know
to get on the
somebody.
line and get Vanessa, whoever the fuck
I
that
know
is,
they
and
got a
why them on that
representative from
shit.
each one of them leagues on this call. I know they got a representative. All they gotta do is tell them to get on.
Hell
Tell them
yeah,
to
I
get on
posted
and
that
tell them we
shit.
lying. Tell them
And
to
they
get on and
dead.
tell them we
That's
lying.
it.
Tell them to get on and tell them we lying.
Because
That's all you
what
gotta
they're
do.
going
It's
to
somebody
do,
from
what
each
they're
one of
going
them
to do
leagues
is
on.
they're going to play up the infringements and that we were non-compliant. The non-compliancy that got us kicked out of the league is not showing up to meetings, which, by the way, we had delegates available to show up to, and being late on our stats, which, by the way, we paid the fines for, and the lateness of the film, again, we paid the fine for that. Let's circle back. There were other teams who also did not go to meetings. There were other teams who also did not upload their stats and still haven't uploaded them. There are other teams who don't have film or had terrible film. And then the last one is there was a mention of us still owing league fees of $250 of the entire balance was still up to $250, which we paid in March, but still up until game 1 in April, other teams were still allowed to continue to pay at that late date. And across the entire league comes from 2025 to now, we were being told, you're going to get kicked out, kicked out, kicked out, kicked out, kicked out. That was the message that was coming to us. But no time were these other teams given that type of messaging, to the point where nobody has paid fees yet for their stats being not up, not late 2 hours. So pardon us for believing there's something else to this. But that is what came through in our email. Those are the infringements, folks. Infringements that other teams have as well, but they're not, and to the point where other people in the league in leadership said this really seems unfair and this really seems targeted and personal. We wish it were
the
more.
AWFL commissioner told him that several times.
We wish it were more.
Several times she told him that. She told him several times she felt like there was a personal attack on us, the AWFL assistant commissioner. She told him.
That's enough of a receipt right there.
Right. And we're not,
right, way more than enough.
We're not saying that.
And I'm calling out names, so that means I ain't lying. I'm putting the address on everything I say. I'm putting the address on it. That's why if I'm saying, I ain't just saying it just to be saying. I'm putting the address on there because I said it. I'm putting the address on there. Like, come on. Like, man, go ahead. Yeah.
I don't understand whatever that was. Yeah.
Oh, no, that ain't got nothing to do with this.
I don't.
Yeah, I knew what it meant, but
after this, we're done with it and we're moving on to the things that we gotta do. You know what I mean? This injuring players again. We didn't have a grievance for the player that injured Galarza, and I know that there's another team that had a player who was
delayed the punch Big V. There's a lot of stuff we could have put on.
Yeah, it's unfortunately it's a part of the game, and we don't ever want to see anybody get hurt or injured. And we're not making it okay about throwing a helmet however many yards that was done. We're not saying that's okay, but in the history of Atlanta Phoenix, we don't play to the point where we consistently have all these football things happen that lead to injuries, and lead to personal fouls. We don't. You don't see that from us. We move on. We move on in the game, and we don't want anybody injured, and we don't celebrate that. But we're just saying that we also don't file those grievances when it happens to us. And that's not a reason to kick that is not a reason to kick a team out of a league. If that is the case, we'll give you other teams that should be kicked out of the league that have had the same thing that happened to them and their player. But it has not happened. We just want the fairness. That's it. We just want the fairness. If we miss meetings and other teams miss meetings and other teams miss stats and other teams late on fees, late, and all these things are later than or more or larger than what we've done, give them the same treatment you're giving us. And kicking us out of the league is not the way to go for these infractions. That's all we're saying. We just want the punishment to meet the crime. We're not saying that we got on every single meeting. We don't know what the fuck you talking about. Oh no, our stats was in on Sunday. We don't know what he talking about. Oh, we paid our fines in December. We don't know what he talking about. We're not saying that. We're admitting to where that there was a disconnect. We're admitting to that. Where's the lie? Well, that's not the problem. The problem is, goddamn, you ain't do it to nobody else though. And these are things like this. Administrative. When we produce a quality team, not pulling out guns, not fighting players, coaches not jumping on women, we provide quality facilities. We're hospitable when you come play us. We promote well. We don't get on the internets talking and slandering the league over and over again. And you'll go out there and you'll see teams that are in the league that talk trash about the league during the season and other teams. We don't do that. Those are things that are more egregious. And we're just saying that the math is not mathing with that.
Yeah, we gonna keep beating the dead horse. You got another question for us, Saudi?
Yeah, they keep messaging me. Are they gonna get their $25 back?
We're talking about for the jerseys?
I guess for registration.
Register. Man, I can't even say what I want to say on here because I gotta be right, man. Now, but Cherie got their money back for their jersey. Cherie got their money back for their jersey. Let me say that. Cherie got their money back for their jersey. They say that.
That's a fair question, though.
That is a fair question. I wish they could get it back. Yeah, but it ain't got nothing to do with them, right? If he all about the women like he say he is, right? Why don't you give him their $25 back? Boy, stop. Y'all had to go find. He just gave back the money for the All-Pro jersey. No, he ain't getting that 25 back. Oh, wait. Jeff gave that money for it. Somebody got to.
$12.50 since it would have the season.
Yeah. Right. right.
Deja, that's a listen. We'll work something out because I don't like our players to be, and you know how we do. We don't like our players to be out of anything and out of money or whatever. We don't think the $25 is fair. To let us work something out. We'll figure something out. We'll address it in some kind of way. Make it fair for you.
All right. We got y'all.
That's an idea, Tanea. That's an idea, Tanea.
The feud with the bank. That's funny. Yeah, service not remember. Service back, Paul. But yeah. Now, what you asking, Sadi?
Well, this is just a final question, but I do want some of my teammates to ask questions or express themselves if they want to. Anyone? Any teammates?
You just can't say what we want.
I didn't hear the question, Sadia. Repeat it for me, please.
I said, anyone have any questions that you want or anything to say or comment? Express how you feel.
I for one definitely hate this for a lot of our rookie players. The people who just first time playing football ever, and their experience was cut short. I I mean, in this particular atmosphere, I hate that, I hate how it's making them feel. Me, I can take my emotions out of it as much as I can, but when it affects people that I care about and that I rub elbows with, then that's when it becomes an issue for me and I become protective. So I have been on my best behavior not to go ape shit crazy, you know, on this social media platform to cuss any and everybody who want it, but at the end of the day, I'm a professional person as much as I can be. Yeah, I can shoot the shit. I can be lax in a lot of areas. However, it affects my team entirely. Some deeper than others because, like I said, this is an outlet for them mentally. Mental health is real. So this is something that they look forward to be a part of. It's the only family that some of these players even have. So that's a problem. And that's what they not seeing the bigger picture on how this is effective. Fuck the personal from the head office standpoint. How this affect the people who put in the work, the time, the money, the pain when we leaving a game the next day and you feel that shit like you've been hit by a truck. So that's what's effective to me in the long run. And we just want to play. That's it.
Look like V got a question. Thanks, Butter.
I got one too.
Okay.
Well, I'll go ahead. This is Raven. And just piggybacking off of Butter.
You raise
Uh,
your
oh, I ain't raised my hand. My bad, V.
They
Go
gotta raise
ahead,
your
big
hand.
dog. You got it. You got it. Because coach don't teach us to be aggressive. He teach us technique. You going, bro?
This is my second year. A lot of people know me for Flag and of course Phoenix. Personally and disappointed and being that we are supposed to be adults that uh, this kind of give me bully vibes. And just knowing that I have to play with it.
Looking up terribly, B. Just FYI. We can barely hear what you're saying.
Can you hear me now?
Nope.
Sound like a robot.
Mm-mm.
All right, I'm gonna just type it.
Nah, you heard it now.
But just overall, I'm just it's sad. A lot of people play with health issues. I myself have health issues, so it takes a lot for me to get out on the field, and for this to happen it's kind of heartbreaking and very upsetting. So just wanted to.
We got something to come that's pretty exciting. We'll tell y'all about it.
All right. I'm verbally raising my hand. It's Raven. I'm not going to lie. I am not a sore loser or present myself how I have been presenting myself like this, talking out because we let that shit go up under the rug. Like I could take licks not just for myself but for my team. But at this moment in my career, I felt the need to say something. Whether it was, I just felt the need to say something to stand up for like this ain't right and stuff like that. Of course I could have did it the other way like I usually do, but I just had to say it because, shoot, man, I had to stand up for my teammates. You feel me? My coaches, my owners, all that stuff. Like myself, my life. This not just for me. Like Butter said, these for these young girls, these young kids, these people that's watching this stuff. Something that could never happen, and it's giving them life. This helped me build my relationship back with my daddy. Like all of that stuff helped me conquer my mental health. All of that different stuff with them trials and tribulations help to help other people and things like that. It brought me sisters. You feel me? Brothers, all of that stuff. So, you know, I don't usually conduct myself in that type of manner or whatnot. And but I don't give a fuck about that. It's under the bridge, it's underwater. I apologize only to y'all because as a leader, as a player, you feel me, knowing that we done been through this stuff 2 or 3 times, it's just like, all right, chin up. But it's just like, nah, y'all keep coming at the folks that's building this, not the brand, but the game. Do you understand that? Transcending from the game. So outside of that, hell yeah, I was bitter, man. Like, and this weekend helped me a little bit. This conversation helped me a little bit. And I'm gonna stop responding to these peons and shit like that. And But yeah, that shit was really sad. But you know, it's nothing. It's always a reason for something. So while this door closes, we got a new door opening. So we just rebuilding and keeping the faith and staying rare. You feel me? Can't do no average shit for sure. But outside of that, I love y'all. I thank y'all for all of that, for doing it like this because we needed to express ourselves and have that, and knowing that what we saying is right. We ain't got no time to keep giving energy to these duck ass niggas, like for real. So, oh, sorry for cussing for everybody, but yeah, I'm cool and thank y'all and I love y'all and let's keep going. Whatever the future holds for us, it holds for us. But I gotta
Absolutely.
get a ring so I can hang these bitches up.
Absolutely. Thank you, Raven.
I wanted my ring too, Ray.
I would like to say something.
Sure. Listen
Thank you.
now.
Hello. So, I've been a part of the organization for a minute, and I stepped away from it for a minute, and I literally hopped off the couch, spoke to Kylie Moore and Red, and said, you know, all right, let me just do it for shit and giggles. At the end of the day, I know you guys take it a whole lot more serious. I've seen the transition with Raven and Stella, you know, from back in the day. And I will say to the rookies, keep going. You know, because it's more to it than what we can see right now. And at the end of the day, like, you know, this is it for me. It's been it for me, but you guys are destined for greatness. I mean, I played with people back in the day where we had a roster of 40 egos. But you know, to come off my couch, get back on the field with literally people playing both ways like that, you know, with 22 or 23, however many was out there, going both ways. You guys have heart, and all I'm gonna say is keep going.
Thank you, Tanea.
Appreciate that, big dog. And I appreciate you coming out of the couch to help us out too. It was gonna be magical. Everybody in the country knew what was going on. Everybody seen that show. Greatest show on turf. Everybody seen it. Everybody seen it. Everybody seen it. Feared it too. Feared it too. I ain't gonna take over to me. I'm just tired of
Anyone else got anything they want to say, express themselves? No? All right. So this is to Red and Brain. It's just a final question that I want to ask. If you could say something directly to the AWFL and to the whole women's football community as a whole, what would you say?
to the AWFL and to
And the women's
that's
football, yeah.
That's two different things.
Okay.
to the women community, yeah, that's
Okay,
what I'm talking
we'll
about.
just say to the women's football community.
To the women's football community, man,
Yeah.
stand up more for yourself. Like y'all have a voice bigger than y'all know y'all have. There's no league, there's no team, there's no nothing without y'all. I always preach that to my players. There's no nothing without y'all. So if it's not going right, it don't seem right. Don't let it be right. What I mean by that, if you know it's wrong, don't accept it for right. So we live in a time where the first lie told is the truth. You see what I'm saying? So to the women's football community, man, y'all are growing this sport beyond measures. Don't let these bitter owners and these bitter people stop y'all from doing what y'all got to do. Like I said, I have no problem with no player, no owner. No player, no coaches, for no team in the league. None. I have no problem with nobody. Everybody doing a good job running the sport. It's the leadership. It's the leadership that has to get better. Start with the bully tactics. Stop preying on teams. Make these motherfuckers compete. Make them compete. If you didn't want to compete, you shouldn't have put your team in the league. In the league, make them compete. But for the women, keep standing up for y'all self. Don't let these people just do anything and say anything to y'all, and demand better coaching. The reason why the Atlanta Phoenix win or are in the game to win all the games that we play is because of coaching. The time we take out and we give to these women. That's why Atlanta Phoenix is always good to go. All right? That's all I got.
To the women's football community, I think my message is kind of like Red's as well. It's like, be okay with be okay with who you are as an individual, as an entity, as a dream. Be okay with it and stand up for it, even if it's tough. Um, because I think that's I think that's what football does and teaches you. You go out, you get knocked down, and you get right back up, right? So um, we get knocked down, we get back up. At the end of the day, the game still has to be played um, to the last second and to the last whistle, and that's what we're going to keep doing. It's still a game to be played, and we're going to keep still standing up for who we are, how we see ourselves in the grand scheme of things. And I think that that's a lesson that you can take in football and in your everyday life, your career, or whatever. Regardless of leaders that stand in front of you that try to downplay you, try to make you acclimate and be like other people. Um, be free, and that's what football is supposed to be about. It's supposed to be about freedom, and we've just always just wanted to be free, and we stand up for that, and we just want y'all to do it too. And if you did it more, I think this thing will move faster, better.
Well, that's all the questions I have, and hopefully any of my teammates or anyone who's in this Zoom have any questions. Now's the time to say it right now before it ends, because we're pretty much done with this. We're on to bigger and better things. We're a phoenix for a reason, because we always rise no matter what and continue to rise. With that said, any more questions? Let me see.
Only thing I have to say, if any of my teammates need a shoulder, just a listening ear, just to vent it out, whatever, to manage whatever you have going on mentally, I'm always available.